And then up next, of course, you mentioned earlier your win over the Washington Redskins, 17-0 shutout. And all I recall about that game is the swirling winds as well. Take us back to that Sunday afternoon.
The biggest thing in that game was the fact that the Redskins had this balanced attack, and they were looking to run the ball that day and make it like a scrum because it was so windy. They couldn't throw the football. Their offense was very limited. And, we as a defense, we kind of prepared for that in practice during the week. We had heard what they were looking to do and how they were going to make it happen for themselves, and we just wanted to make sure that we were competitive that day and that we didn't give them anything. They had to work to get whatever they wanted.
Now, 85-86, you're 3-0 at home. What was the big advantage? In the 80s, it just seemed like the Giants had such a great advantage playing at home, which is something they don't seem to have right now. What was the advantage you guys had at home back then?
I think the 12th man on both sides of the ball, the fact that the fans believed in us so much, they got so much into us. They liked every character of the team. They liked the lunch pail, the Big Blue Wrecking Crew on defense, the lunch pail kids on offense. They liked the work ethic and the attitude of Joe Morris in our running game. They liked the fact that Phil Simms had become a hard-working guy and a vocal guy on offense. We brought in a guy who looked like Sylvester Stallone that played tight end for us, and Mike Bavaro, and the muscle and the attitude and just the determination that guy had on his face every time he went out to work and play for us was pretty much the attitude of the people in New Jersey. And the fans did a great job in supporting everything that we wanted for this area and for this town and for this state, as well as New York City, in terms of winning and being able to show people how you win with hard work and determination. And I think that's the thing that really helped our football team.
Did you think in practice Phil Simms was ever going to have such an incredible game, completing 22 of 25 passes?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you, I knew he would be good. I knew he would have a hell of a day, but I didn't think he would have that big a day. But I knew he'd have a hell of a day. The one thing I can recall is in talking to Carl Banks after the game, I said, Carl, if he doesn't do 22 or 25, you and I might have been co-defensive MVPs of this game. You with 11 tackles and a recovered fumble, and me with 2.5 sacks and 9 tackles. I don't know, Carl. I think we both had a hell of a day against Denver. So I was happy and proud to see our offense get recognition for something because everybody thought we were just terrible on offense, and I thought that Phil and them tried. We had midgets for receivers, Lionel Manuel and Bobby Johnson, and all little guys, never a big guy until Odessa Turner came in our offense. Did we have a big receiver? So, literally speaking, I was happy that we were able to have some success, be able to move the ball, and be able to win a game on the backs of the guys who played on offense, just as well as the guys on defense.
Now, early on, the Denver was moving the ball. It took a couple of plays. Carlos, of course, missed a field goal. A couple of key stops inside the 10-yard line. Denver was moving the ball against your defense a little bit early on in that game. Yes,
they were. They were able to have some success because they were able to figure out that if they got the ball either deep down the middle or short passes and short runs, that they could control pretty much what they were doing on offense. It's where they tried to take the big shot to make the big play that they were afraid of because either we'll get sacked, we cause a fumble, or we come up with an interception.
And, of course, the offense scoring 30 points in the second half. Talking to Carl Mecklenburg recently, he said basically the offense just was doing everything opposite, almost like the Seinfeld. If the opposite that I do is right, then it works. So it was you guys really changed up the plan on the offensive scheme. Were you guys surprised in the second half watching this unfold?
Well, I tell you what, to watch them have success with the ball on the ground as well in the air, and to see those guys suck and win on Denver's defense was huge for us. It was huge for us. We got energy out of that, and my hat's off to Ron Earhart, obviously, and Bill Belichick for the job they did on both sides of the balls as coordinators, and the fact that Belichick was able to implement a plan in the second half where we mixed in some run blitzes and some pass blitzes, and we're able to put some pressure on Elway and make him throw the ball off rhythm, make him throw the ball at times in places where he wasn't used to throwing the football.
What did it feel like just walking off the field knowing you guys won the Super Bowl?
Well, it felt unbelievable, man. I mean, to win a championship game. I mean, I had never won in high school. I had never won at LSU. I got to the show at LSU, but never really won at LSU. And to be able to do it, a great group of guys and guys that had went from boys to men was just phenomenal. And a life experience is something that I'll never forget. I mean, the only other thing that's greater than winning a championship is the birth of my children.
How heavy was Parcells to carry off the field?
Heavy. Heavier than me. And I hope you hear this, too.
Then, of course, 1987, Monday night game, season opens, last two Super Bowl champions, you and the Chicago Bears. The Bears lay a licking to you guys. What happened there in the opening game of 1987?
In 87? The 87 game, I think that we were too busy focused on the rest of the season, what was going to happen with the strike and everything else. I think that I just think our team wasn't as focused. I think the strike and everything associated with the strike was more important than beating the Bears, because the Bear game wasn't as big as the strike. And players were trying to gear up and get ready for the strike. And we knew that game wasn't going to mean much, because we knew that the strike thing was going to be, at least 30 to 60 days. So.
1987, of course, you're talking about the strike, and, of course, today we have impending labor problems. And you're talking about the players. We're thinking about that. Turns out that Giants management at the time wasn't thinking that they were going to have to play with replacement players, and the players they brought in weren't that good, and Giants wound up losing 3 games. So now the season resumes, and the team's 0-5. It was almost an impossible mountain to climb back in 1987 to be 0-5.
Yeah, it was a pretty much an impossible mountain to climb. We lost 5 games, and of the 5 games we lost, 2 of them went to the Washington Redskins. And I don't know if you recall that. And those games lost to the Redskins gave the Redskins the upper hand on winning the division. The Redskins seem to have won both championships that they won in the 80s during strike seasons, if you remember. 82 strike, 87 strike. So, didn't say much for the Redskins as an organization as much as, folks would think. The Giants didn't cheat. They didn't try to put the best team on the field. It's tried to give people a product to look at to pretty much satisfy the TV contract with the networks, whether it was CBS, NBC, or ABC at the time, which I can't dig back far enough to remember who was who or what was what. I do kind of recall that ABC was Monday Night Football, but I don't recall whether it was CBS or NBC at the time. So the situation played out this way. That
first, the fact that Lawrence crossed the picket line, did that create any dissent in the locker room?
It created a lot of dissension, a lot of animosity. I mean, because we had players that were held out. I was one of them. I was one of about 27, 28 guys that would not cross the picket line. And he did, and yeah, that was quite a bit of animosity.
How did you get over something like that? Did it take till the next season to get over? Did it linger throughout the season in the locker room?
I think it took a whole year.
Okay, so 1987 is pretty much a wash. You go into 1988, and I can think of 2 games now. You guys finished 10-6, but you don't make the playoffs, and there are 2 critical games in that season. One, an early game against the 49ers. You guys had a 17-13 lead, and pretty much in the last minute of the game, Montana connects with Jerry Rice on an 80-yard pass with Jerry Rice, and you lose the game 20-17. Then later on, a game against the Jets, the last game of the season, which was a real shocker.
Right, 88. The game against the Jets was a mess, because we knew that they were going to try to lob pass to get that ball to Al Toon. It's Al Toon versus Tom Flynn. I mean, Tom Flynn was 5'8". Al Toon was 6'2", 6'3". So over half a foot advantage for Al Toon. First round pick versus a free agent. We knew that it's going to be a mismatch. But what could we do? I mean, we could call out all we want, but unless we match up personnel against their personnel, they're pretty much bound to get a play. So.